Hi, my name is Austin Jepson. I'm a junior at Utah State studying finance and economics. Through college, I worked 40-hour weeks teaching tennis. In tennis, an ace is an untouchable serve, and I know that I can be a sales ace for you. I'm assertive, confident, and experienced. Ace. First, I'm assertive. As an intern in Lima, Peru, I advised entrepreneurs how to grow their businesses. I proactively conducted local market research to create plans for these business owners. I am very comfortable approaching businesses I do not know to discuss marketing and sales. By speaking to them in their own language, these entrepreneurs put their trust in me, allowing me to guide them to corporate success. Assertiveness is essential in sales, as sales requires that you take the initiative. Second, I'm confident. I coach over 80 tennis players of all levels, which requires confidence in my skills and leadership ability. I'm also part of the tennis club administration that increased monthly revenue from $14,000 to $32,000 and increased private lesson revenue by 3 times. Confidence has been instrumental in me achieving my goals, helping me overcome doubt, as I have often surpassed even my own expectations. Confidence is pivotal in sales, as a salesman must lead the client and then solve their problems. Third, I'm experienced. After just 14 weeks as a door-to-door salesman selling pest control, I generated over $173,000 in revenue by being personable, focused, and resilient. This resulted in me being ranked second out of 175 first-year sales reps nationwide. As your sales ace, my assertiveness, confidence, and experience will help take the sales of your company to the next level. I would love to talk further with you another day. When can we set up the next interview?
Hi, my name is Jordan Tittenser from Weaver State University. I'm a professional sales major with a minor in entrepreneurship. Today, I'd like to share 3 qualities that I believe would make me an asset to your team. 1, my competitive nature. 2, organizational skills. And 3, my personality. I'll just start from the beginning. I was an only child for 2 whole minutes until my twin brother was born. Since day 1, we've been in competition for the favorite child, and that competition continued through our childhood as we competed on the same tumbling team at a national level, and now we attend the same university in the professional sales program. Competition has permeated every aspect of my life, as I have been involved in competitive dance, tumbling, my high school drill team, and now my involvement in sales and competitions. My competitive nature drives me to work hard and do my best. Second, my organizational skills. My organizational skills have been demonstrated as my position as an officer on both my high school drill team and in my DECA chapter in high school. In DECA, my position was community service coordinator, and I was responsible for my organization and participation of my chapter in multiple fundraisers, including Christmas Tree Jubilee and Cash for Kids. And finally, my personality. My personality gives me the opportunity to approach people in a friendly manner, creating lasting impressions and lasting friendships and relationships, which I believe is the most important thing about sales. I believe these 3 qualities, among others, give me an advantage and also make me a perfect asset for any team. Thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Hi, my name is Matthew Cohen, and I'm currently a junior at William Paterson University, on track to graduate in the spring of 2021 with my degree in professional sales. I'm seeking an internship for the summer of 2020 to really utilize my years of sales experience, as well as find one that I can really invest myself in and bring value to. I want to go over three of many qualities today that I possess that I am more than confident will bring value to you and your team. Those being my time management, my adaptability, and my positivity. To speak to my time management, I'm currently working 30 to 35 hours a week while also attending school full time as a Dean's List student, and I also have a little bit of time to give back to my local high school and volunteer to help coach the soccer team. Although this might seem like a lot, I really love these experiences because it teaches me how to better manage my time and really optimize productivity in anything I do, and it's something I'm more than confident I could do with you and your business. To speak to my adaptability, as you can see on my resume, I started out as an owner of my own company going into college, moved on to being an outside sales rep, and I'm currently an enterprise rent-a-car. All three of these experiences are very different, but what I learned was to really to use what I learned at prior experiences, as well as what I've learned here at the RBI Sales Lab, to really ingratiate myself effectively and efficiently with any role I was placed in, and it's something I'm more than confident that I could do with you and your team. Now, I believe that life is a series of lessons that must be lived to be learned, and one of the most important lessons that I've learned on this earth was that when my grandfather had Alzheimer's, I really learned the power of positivity and what it meant to be positive to not only myself, but the people around me. That's something that I not only carry in my personal life, but it's something I've carried over to my professional life, as I'm really viewed as an electric personality in the workplace, and I bring positivity to myself and everybody around me. Now that I've instilled with you the confidence that I am a good time manager, I am adaptive, and I am positive, I look forward to gaining your confidence in the next steps of the hiring process. Thank you.
Hi, Meredith Richards. This summer, I lived in the Philippines where I taught financial literacy to small business owners. Tagalog is a Filipino language, and while I was there, I was able to learn a few phrases. Ingat is a common phrase which translates to take care. And today, there are 5 things I would like you to remember me by using this acronym Ingat. And these 5 things will uniquely position me to be a valuable member of your sales team. First, I stands for innovative. As a member of my university student association, my team was tasked with increasing the number of student voters on campus. So I created a script, then collaborated with some local musicians to make a rap about voting. We involved Greek life, university ambassadors, student athletes, and even the president of the university to be in the music video. This was a super fun way to encourage voting, and the result was a higher number of student voters in the following election. Next, N stands for nifty. One of my hobbies is thrift shopping. I like upcycling old clothes and furniture, and I like to see the potential in all things. This is a skill that's crucial in the workplace because similar to building up things, I build up people. G stands for goal-oriented. As one of the first hire-ons at a new student housing complex of over 700 students, my team made it a goal to reach 100% occupancy by our second year of operation. By conducting competitive research, creating marketing deliverables, and creating a new employee training, my team was successfully able to reach 100% occupancy, a high retention rate, and voted the best student housing complex in the area. A stands for ability to listen. As an ambassador of the Huntsman School, I give tours to prospective students and their families. It's crucial to listen in order to cater the tour specific to them, addressing their wants and needs. And lastly, T stands for teachable. I believe in the power of a growth mindset characterized by a teachable spirit. My willingness to learn and grow from both good and bad experiences has allowed me to constantly progress and improve throughout my entire life. I'd like to leave you with the confidence that I am an INGA individual, and if these are the qualities that you're looking for in your sales team, then I look forward to our next conversation. Thank you, and INGA.
Hi, my name is Olivia Peterson. I'm a senior at the University of Minnesota studying business and marketing. Like my peers today, I am competitive and personable, but I really want to share with you what it is that I do differently. 2 years ago, at my first sales internship, I had to think of a word that best represented my professional identity. I went with the word resilience. Only 10% of people from my high school move on to obtain a 4 year college degree, and in my senior year, I was told by a teacher that I shouldn't go to college because I wasn't ready. Now, with one semester left, I hold a 3.7 and have my certificate in professional sales. Not only am I a part of that 10%, but I hold myself up to a standard to be at the top 1% of everything I do. And there are several ways I set myself up to achieve that level of success. One is through my discipline, which is best showcased through my ability to be coachable. This summer, I interned with Arthur J. Gallagher, and my weekly presentations were off to a pretty rough start. But after setting up meetings with higher ups and my mentor for feedback, at the end of the summer, my managers told me I was most improved and was only one of 4 interns to receive a full time job offer. My grit is another key to my success. When I started the sales team, I was getting last and second to last in all of my competitions. But after putting in 3 times the amount of required hours, meeting with my coach, and doing my own independent research, by junior year, people were nervous to be in the same suite as me. Now, 20 competitions later, I am ranked first in the program in the race for Salesperson of the Year. Passion is the forefront of everything that I do. I'm always looking for extra ways to make my impact. That is why I hold a position within my sorority and serve on my sales team student council, and I'm positive I'd be able to provide that same amount of enthusiasm and passion for your organization. If you're looking for a scrapper that's going to continue to surprise you, I think we should continue this conversation next Tuesday over coffee. What do you think?
Yes.
So Amy Chambers from Complete Document Solutions.
Yes, good to
Thank
see
you
you.
so much for meeting me today.
Sure.
Do you mind if I take a seat?
Of course.
Great. I'm so glad that we could have this meeting. I'm excited for what we have to talk about today. But I wanted to give you one of my business cards.
Okay.
If you have any questions after the meeting, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. And then I wanted to check, is 15 minutes still okay for a meeting?
Yeah, you're still good.
Okay, great. So I know last time we talked, you mentioned that I should try the Maggie's Tavern down the street.
Yeah.
And I actually swung by on my way here to grab lunch.
Okay.
So good. You were
Good.
right. Do you have any favorite dish?
I like their bar pies.
Okay, good to
Yeah.
know. I'll have to try that next time. But thanks for the recommendation. It really was great.
Good, good.
So in the interest of time, I set an agenda for today.
Yes.
I just want to go over the last meeting, review everything, recap, see if
Okay.
everything's still the same, if that sounds good to you.
Yep.
And then I made a more comprehensive solution, including those IT services that we
Gotcha.
discussed. So we can go over my recommendations there and then discuss next steps if everything sounds great. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Yeah.
Great. And then if you don't mind, I'd love to just transition into it. Do you mind if I take notes as we go?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, what's up?
Just wanted to give you the latest article on the Xerox and HP merger.
Oh, yeah, I've been hearing
Folks
about this.
From CDS,
Okay.
so maybe they can provide some insight.
All right.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
No problem.
right.
I
It's all
appreciate it. Thank you.
All over the news, this potential merger between HP and Xerox.
Yes, sir. Is that a concern area for you while we're in this meeting? I want to make sure I alleviate anything there.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Can you shed any light on it, or would you happen to know anything about that?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously that is something that is happening in the news.
Okay.
So we are not working with Xerox as a partner, but we are a distributor of their items, obviously.
Gotcha.
So we are one of the number one Xerox providers. Actually,
Right.
if you don't mind, I'll show you something on
Yeah.
that. We actually just got Xerox Agent Partner of the Year.
Got it.
So yes, that is a possibility, and they
Okay.
have their own things that they might be contributing to. But of course, as CDS, we pride ourselves in our ability to provide these Xerox printers, and
Okay.
hopefully that alleviates the concern a little bit there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
we'll
You
see
sound a
what-
little bit hesitant. Is there anything else I can clear up for
Well,
you?
I don't know. It's just it's been all over the news, so we'll see how things shake out. But
Definitely. Well, of course, I can keep you updated with any more information after the
Okay.
meeting that I get as it comes through. Does that sound good?
that sounds fair.
Fantastic. Okay, so to jump back into things,
Mm-hmm.
as I was saying, I just wanted to review the things that we discussed in our last meeting.
Okay.
And did you mind if I took notes while we go along?
No, not at all.
Okay, fantastic. So the first thing that we discussed was that ransomware incident
Yes.
and how that cost you $25,000 and a week's loss of productivity.
Mhm.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Obviously, that's something that we wanted to avoid,
Right.
and that's why we're talking here today. You mentioned that it really took a hit to your guys' reputation and how that's been customer satisfaction has kind of been
Yeah.
iffy there. Is that still an issue?
It's it'll be an ongoing thing
Of
until
course.
we kind of correct it. So
Security is important.
Yeah.
Of course. And then you also mentioned the growth that you guys have been experiencing, which is great.
Mhm.
But of course, that's putting a little bit of pressure on you, stretching you a little thin, making it so you can't really focus on those strategic initiatives, having to focus on the smaller things. Of course, that's something that we want to avoid as well. And then the last thing that we discussed was revamping your guys' printing solutions
Mhm.
and then really putting an emphasis on the reliability, saving you guys money, and then of course, making it so that you can provide quality service to your customers, both faster and efficiently. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I didn't get a chance to touch on that may be pressing?
No, I think that was a pretty decent recap. I think you hit most of the points there.
Fantastic. Well, then, if you don't mind, I'd love to just go into my proposal and really show you those specific benefits of how it will impact Garcia and Davis specifically. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Great. Well, then, what I want to start with is talking about the printers. And as we discussed in our last meeting, I really think, obviously, we have the two families of printers, the VersaLink or the AltaLink. But when I went back to my team and made your customized solution, I believe the AltaLink family and the C8000 series specifically would be the perfect solution for you. And I actually even went down to the detailed exact printer that would be best, and I think the C8055, my apologies, would be best for you. The reason that I thought this would be perfect is because you mentioned to me you would like to print between 20 to 30,000 pages per month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Combined.
Of course, yes. And then you also mentioned that the importance of the mobile connectivity, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, security is a big area there.
Huge. Yeah.
You also mentioned the importance of being able to scan through the cloud up to 10,000 pages per month, And then those translation services we offer in both Spanish and French. So those would be important as well, and these printers would be able to provide that. We also want to emphasize the quality service, of course, fast and efficient for your customers, boost your guys' reputation a little bit more.
And by the way, you mentioned service. What is
Of
the,
course.
in terms of service response time? How quickly will, if I have an issue, what's the turnaround time?
Of course. So is there a specific timing that you're looking for, or what's the concern there specifically?
Well,
Just
right
having
now,
the reliability?
yeah. I'm
Of
just
course.
curious right now. I have a buddy who works over a different firm, and they have Canon devices there, and he said typically that they're probably within 4 to 5 business hours.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, so it definitely depends. But that would be part of our managed IT services, and I would love to discuss that further in the presentation. Does that sound good?
yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
great. And of course, when we get to that concern, just let me know if there's any further questions. And then the last thing that I just wanted to touch on, obviously the reliability as you're speaking of, what happens when there is a breakdown. It's technology. We're not going to say that everything's perfect. So what kind of support do we have there? And eco-friendly. So of course that's important as well for sustainability issues.
Yes.
And then, as I mentioned, those IT services. So you discussed just now, and you asked me the question of what's the response time look like? What kind of support do we have? Those are the 3 different support systems that we have, and they're part of those managed IT services that we discussed and why they would be so important for Garcia and Davis. And so our end user support is actually 24/7 unlimited calls. So any calls or emails that you needed to make, if there was an issue, you can contact us 24/7. And then we do have that on-site support. And of course, it would depend on the location and what issue you're exactly facing. But we
And
do
that's all
have,
of North America?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And so we do have those certified technicians that would be able to be dispatched to your site as soon as possible. And because of our different locations, we're able to provide you those dispatched on-site support as soon as possible. Does that answer your question a little bit and that concern from earlier?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say so.
Fantastic. So how are you feeling about everything? You want to discuss the different options that you would be able to go with as far as purchasing these?
Sure. Yeah, let's go
Okay,
ahead. Let's take
great.
a look at that.
So there are 2 different options. There is the leasing or the purchasing. I know when we mentioned earlier you were leaning a little bit more towards leasing.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. To be honest, it's going to offer you that predictable monthly cost.
Right.
And then you're not going to be having to worry about a depreciating asset on your balance sheet and having to sell that later on. Does that make sense?
It does, but as accountants, our team here, they love numbers, so I'm
Of
sure
course.
they probably want to see a purchase price as well.
Exactly, and I would love to share that with you. So I know that at CDS we actually offer 36 to 60 month leases. Those are the different options. And when I was working with my team to specifically build out your results, the 39 month lease would be the best option.
Okay.
That would be $899 a month for 15 users. Now, what this would include, because obviously that's a big number, is your full maintenance on these devices, as well as supplies, parts, the service labor, any consumables such as the toners, and then any post-service processes as well. Does that all make sense?
Sort of. So that monthly number that you threw out,
Yes.
that includes the actual hardware, the equipment itself,
Yes, sir.
plus your managed services offering.
So the managed services are a separate cost. As we discussed in the last meeting, it is $100 per user per month,
Okay.
but it does include all of the service labors involved with the specific machines. Does that make sense and clear that up?
Sort of. So if we have, let's call it 30 users, that's an additional $3,000 a month on top of that.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
Is there any concern there?
No. Should there be?
No.
Okay.
If there's not, I just want to make sure that I can answer any questions that you have. But yeah, so that
I just
would
wanted to clarify it.
Yes, sir. So those are the extra $3,000, and then that would total about $4,000 a month. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right, fantastic. So what this really means, because I'm sure you're wondering what's it's going to mean for Garcia and Davis. Overall, these solutions are going to be able to increase your efficiencies and your automation, as well as decrease your overall costs, and then increase the customer service that you're able to provide to your clients, which will bump that reputation that we discussed. Do you see the way that these solutions would be able to provide those benefits?
Certainly helpful. Yeah, it's a lot more clearer today than it was last time we met.
Good. I'm glad that I could make sure that everything was clear for you. How are you feeling moving forward? I did bring a contract with me today, so I want to make sure that you're comfortable. I don't want to push you into anything. I'm here to make sure that we're providing you the best solution.
Yeah.
How do you feel about reviewing that contract?
Well, I certainly be willing to take a look at it. We have an IT meeting with their team next Tuesday.
Okay.
And I know we're looking to get some the equipment installed or have a final decision and something
course.
implemented by the end of the year.
Okay,
So
end of year.
that's kind of like our time frame.
Gotcha. And are you really trying to just get that as soon as possible, or by the end of the year, just let it go? I mean, we're coming up on the end of the year. We're in November,
it'll
so
be quick before we know it. So,
Gotcha.
the next step would be an internal meeting discussion here with some of the key partners,
okay,
and then we can ultimately make a final decision. Then.
that sounds great. Are there any specific partners that you would like me to talk to as well, and maybe we could set up a meeting with them to make sure everything is clarified?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, really, what I'm going to do is kind of gather this information and make that final presentation to those to the end users there, the
Gotcha.
key decision makers, and then
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
So I understand that you're the final decision maker. So is there anything that I can clear up for you that you are feeling that you need to have a meeting with those outside people to discuss?
We want to just take a final look at the numbers and make sure we have it all set up, that we have the right amount of equipment for not just today, but also over the next 36 months, because
Of
it is
course.
going to be commitment that we need to be mindful of for the next 3 years. So making sure that in those other locations in both Dallas and California that we've put in place the best solution. But I like what you have. I like
Okay,
what you
great.
presented here.
Well, I do have the contract with me, so I do want to bring it out and just review it with you. So as you can see, the terms are the 39-month contract with that $899 per month for 15 users, and then the IT services are the added $100 per user per month.
Okay.
So those are the numbers. If you want to take this back with your team, you don't feel comfortable going through it today, I completely understand. I also wanted to include this reference
Okay.
sheet so that you can see how we've helped some of our other customers, and hopefully that'll be able to add on some justification behind
Sure.
it. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with
Great.
Kirkland and Ellis.
Great. And then when is your meeting with your other team members?
Tuesday. So, we have
Okay.
some attorneys here. They want to review all the terms and conditions of the agreement and make sure that, they've dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's. And
Of
then
course.
if everything looks in order, we should be able to move forward.
That sounds great. I'm really glad to hear that. How do you feel about us setting up a meeting for Wednesday? We'll give you time to go through that meeting, make that final decision, and then I can come back and we can iron out the details.
That would be fine. What time are you thinking?
Okay.
It is the day before Thanksgiving. So.
That is true. Are you still comfortable going with that
Yeah,
day?
it'll probably be a light day. So.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to iron out most of the details that we've discussed today, so it should only be a short meeting, if that's okay.
Okay.
But do you want to do it in the morning so that way you can get out a little bit early?
Sure.
Okay, great. Does 9 a.m. work for you?
That's perfect.
Perfect. And 15 minutes for that meeting as well,
I
or
don't think
hopefully
it should
less
take any
time
more
if
than
we
that.
just have to
Right.
sign.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I will leave those with you.
Okay.
So is there any other questions or concerns that I can answer before I head out?
No, I think I'm all set.
Okay, that's very good to hear. I'll make sure to send all of the information that I showed you today in a
Yes.
follow-up email so that you can show your team.
Great.
And then, as I said, I gave you my business card, so if there's any follow-up questions or concerns, my personal number's on there. Feel free to reach out whenever. Sound good?
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much for the meeting today, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you on
All
Wednesday.
right. Thanks.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Alex. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not good. Jessica Lupo of Complete Document
Yeah,
Solutions.
hey Jessica, good to see you again.
Do you mind if I take a seat?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Here, before we get started, I'd love to leave you with my business cards updated. CDS says yes is the new
Nice.
logo. It's
I like
incredible.
it. Yeah. Nice card.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I know last time we spoke, you said you were going to a UCF football game. How'd that go?
Never made it.
Never made it?
No.
Why?
Geez, I think it was raining, so we decided not to go.
That's okay. That's always a good night in.
Yeah.
Cool. That is so good to hear. So I know the last time we spoke, you had said you were the sole IT provider for the firm. Is that still the case?
Yep, it's just me, and the 3 offices.
3 offices. That's right. In California and Texas
Yep.
and right here.
Yeah.
So exciting. So I have an agenda today. It's
Okay.
similar to our previous agendas. I want to go over the key points that we discussed previously. It had to do with the printers, security, and then IT solutions.
Yes. Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Hi.
to interrupt.
Hey.
I wanted to give you this article. It's
Okay.
the article on the HP Xerox merger.
Oh,
I'm meeting with folks from
Nice.
CDS. So
Yeah.
Insight. All right.
This was in the-
Thank
this-
you. Apologize for
Oh,
interrupting.
would you like to join?
No, thank you.
All right. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Exciting.
This has been all over the news. I've been hearing about this. I don't know
Wall
if
Street
you.
Journal.
Yeah. Familiar with it?
Yeah, it's at the tune of, I think, $22 billion at the moment.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
do you think about that? I don't know.
Well, they're working with Goldman Sachs to do it, so it's pretty exciting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Xerox is definitely a big player. It's one of our biggest partners with CDS, so
Right.
it's really good to hear.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the whole thing shakes out. I mean, what do you? We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. So getting back to it, I know we had some high impact needs.
Okay.
Had to do with printing
Mhm.
and then overall security and IT infrastructure.
Yeah.
Is there anything that has changed since then?
No, those are really the three biggest pain points for us today.
Okay. No, that sounds great.
Mhm.
So I guess moving forward, we've definitely talked about printing and your needs.
Yes.
From what I remember, it's 9 printers, 3 offices, 1 on every floor.
Mhm.
You have about 45 employees. Is that still correct?
Approximately 40 to 45. Yeah.
That is perfect. Good to hear.
Mhm.
So I guess moving forward, what are still some of your concerns in regards to printing, security, and maybe IT?
So a lot of the stuff that we've kind of discussed in the past, first and foremost, the security. So as an accounting firm, it's important to us that our clients' documents and information is stored. We shared with you last time what happened with us and the fines that we had to, or the fee we had to pay to recapture that information. So that's still very, very important. The ability to control the amount of color printing that's being done throughout the organization. I know sometimes things are done inadvertently, but there's a cost associated with that. So we want to make sure that we do a good job of corralling that and avoiding any unnecessary expenses. And obviously, I'm here and trying not to bounce around as much as I was in the past. So don't have someone a physical presence at those other locations. So making sure that whoever we partner with puts in place the right solution that's going to allow us to manage all 3 offices remotely, I think is going to be huge.
Definitely. One thing undertone that I keep hearing is cost and expenses. Is this something important to you?
I'm not going to say that money's not an object. It's always a factor, but I will say that our ultimate and final decision won't be based solely on price.
Okay. No, that definitely sounds great. I know previously you did have, the IT, the ransomware.
Yeah.
How did that affect your budget moving forward?
In terms of?
I guess, it's an unprecedented expense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it opened up our eyes to the fact that, hey, you know what, as good as we thought we were, we're not that good. So we've had to add some resources and some funds and allocated those to make sure that doesn't happen again. So
What would happen if it were to happen again?
that's a very good question. I suppose a larger amount. I don't know what that dollar amount would be. Maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times.
Oh, wow. Do you think that would affect your position?
That's it would probably put me on certainly under the microscope a little bit, and they'd probably be saying, "What the heck's Alex doing?"
We don't want that to happen.
No.
So I know you had mentioned control of color printing
Right.
and security. I guess, are there controls currently in place in regards to seeing who can print and who is printing?
Not really. Again, the equipment we have is fairly old compared to some of the newer stuff that's out there. So what we were using in the past was just kind of defaulting print drivers to black and white, but it didn't mean that users couldn't just switch it over to print in color.
Right.
So I think we're looking for a little bit more of a sophisticated way to ensure that doesn't happen, or maybe put some tighter controls on it, like I said earlier.
No, definitely. You had mentioned, I know Garcia and Davis is growing
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
How do you see your IT infrastructure growing as your company grows?
Well, we're certainly gonna need additional resources to support the growing team. We're about 40 to 45. The expectation is if we grow to 10 to 15% in terms of headcount for the next 3 years, and that would take us to about 60 or so users.
Okay.
I think that's where we're looking to be. So that's why it's important that when we make a decision in terms of the equipment, not just for today, but also kind of looking forward a little bit. So we're mindful of that, and we want to take all that consideration.
So definitely being proactive in your approach.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's good to hear. So I know you had mentioned your headcount is going to grow as well. Do you see, as far as equipment, do you own or lease your equipment?
We're wrapping up the lease. If it was a 4-year lease, so I think we have maybe one more payment, and then we're done with it.
I was going to say, do you see yourself owning or leasing equipment in the future?
That's a good question. I mean, we're accountants. We love numbers. I'd be willing to look at both options. It is a depreciating asset, in my opinion, so
Right.
I don't think it necessarily makes sense to purchase it. So, maybe leasing would make more sense. But ultimately, once I have all that information, I'll be able to present it next Tuesday to the partners, and I'll make my recommendation based off that.
Do you know if the partners are available to join today's meeting?
One of them's golfing, and the other one is not. He left early for the weekend.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So you're the sole
But they
decision-
did know we were meeting.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Are there any priorities from your partners that they're looking for with IT and printing?
No, I mean I've been here for a long period of time, so I think for the most part they trust my recommendation and what I suggest. And once we present it, ultimately they'll be the ones that sign though.
They will?
Yeah.
Are you sure they can't join today?
How do you suggest we do that?
Can we call them in or, anything like that?
I would hate to get, I know you mentioned what would happen if there was another breach. I can't imagine what would happen if I called him when he's playing golf.
That is very
Yeah,
true. Well, let's, how about we move forward, and then if
Okay.
everything seems great and, we can maybe put that call in place, we could definitely check it out. How's that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
So what I'm hearing is, you're looking at security, the
Yeah.
cost of security. You're looking at control for color printing. We don't want the accountants going color crazy over here. And then on top of that, just avoiding unnecessary expenses and making sure as we move forward, we're considering the future and the
Yeah.
decisions we're making now.
Absolutely.
Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's a good summarization.
What do you think is most important?
What is most important?
Out
Well,
of those
first
three.
and foremost, the security piece.
Okay.
Cool.
Would you be interested in hearing how CDS Xerox can definitely become a trusted partner to you and possibly, we could sign something today?
That's why you're here.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I guess as far as security goes, CDS Xerox and Xerox in particular, we have industry partnerships that aren't seen with any other printer. So HP, for example, if that merger were to happen, we would love to integrate those industry partnerships with HP.
Okay.
But Xerox currently works with McAfee and Cisco for multiple different things. And one of them I want to mention is Cisco, because here you're able to help control and mitigate color printing. So what that means is you're able to see on the back end
Okay.
who's printing, how much they're printing, and who's printing in color.
Right.
So moving forward, as far as certification standards go, the printer that I want to talk to you about today is the Altalink. And reason being is that they're the first to meet the new certification standards put out by the Common Criteria certification. So what this means is industry-wide, Xerox was the first vendor worldwide to meet the certification.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible. Not only that, but when we're looking at the businesses and corporations that use Xerox, 10 out of 10 global banks, 10 out of 10 of the largest universities in the nation,
Okay.
and then all 50 of the U.S. governments rely on Xerox's security to make decisions and trust that they're going to have secure documents moving forward.
That's a little nice fun fact.
Yeah, how does that all sound?
It sounds good.
Right. I guess moving forward, as far as IT services goes,
when we're thinking about the approach we want to take to IT services, it's a proactive, not reactive approach.
Okay.
And when we talk about that, we want to make sure we're forward thinking. And that's why I want to talk to you today about, leasing equipment versus owning.
Right.
When I think about leasing, I think about low upfront costs. I think about it being recorded as an expense, so it's tax deductible, and it's something that you're able to upgrade in the future. So
Okay.
leasing, you had mentioned your headcount is growing.
Yes.
So in the next 3 years, typically lease terms are 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
In the next 3 years, when your headcount grows and you're in need of more IT equipment, you're able to sign a new lease, get brand new equipment, the latest technology, and keep moving forward as your company grows.
Well, that makes
How's that all
that flexible. I like it.
Right. And then, moving forward as far as ease of use, when I think about making sure that you track the color printing, well, how many of your accountants do you think have a touch iPhone or a smartphone?
So we're 40. Let's say we're 45 in total today, and let's say 25, 30 of them. Let's go 30 of them
30?
are accountants, but some are a little bit older. I would probably say 20 of them.
20 of them?
Yeah,
So almost
20,
a little bit of
25 of
half.
them.
So that half would have the ease of use of, the Xerox touchscreen. So what this is similar to a smartphone. It's consistent, fast, and customizable across all of your offices.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, you're able to, on the back end, also track the printing, but they're able to easily see which one is black and white and which one is color. And for those individuals who don't have a smartphone, we do offer training as well. How does that all sound?
How often? How? What sort of training is it?
So we have on-site and online training depending on your needs. So depending on if your accountants have the ability, I know they work on billable hours,
Yeah.
to sit through a full presentation, we have no problem offering that. But if they just need one module, it's no problem to take 3 minutes and show them online how to work the machine.
Okay,
How does that sound?
that sounds good.
Do you have any hesitations moving forward in regards to,
A buddy of mine works over at a law firm, in similar position to what I do, but they have Canon over there.
Mhm.
How does it, like, how would you say Canon compares to the Xerox equipment?
Personally, I see Xerox being, the top equipment only because of its partnerships, its external certifications, the common criteria certification being one. Canon, if you look at their equipment compared to ours, our certifications are longer lasting, but also we've reached them first. So when I think about holistically the security and what we offer, I think Xerox is top notch.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I guess good.
Yeah?
I don't know if you can maybe send me over some collateral that speaks to that. That'd be great.
We could definitely, do a presentation and talk a little bit further.
Yeah. Or maybe you could just email it. That's fine.
We could leave this presentation with you, and
Okay.
you have no problem with that.
Okay.
So I guess right now, moving forward, is there
Yeah.
anything that is holding you back in regards to signing today?
Well, I don't even. Did you even give me a price yet?
Well, we can definitely work on price.
Okay.
So right now, you're looking at $8.99 a month. As far as cost goes, it's $8.99 a month for 15 users. And when I think about your 3 offices, it totals out to $27 a month, which is $32,400 a year. How's that all sounding?
$27.
$2,700.
Oh, $2,700 a month. Okay. For this solution. Okay. And that includes everything.
That includes absolutely everything: IT, managed printing, and the actual physical equipment.
Okay.
How does this all sound?
It sounds good. I mean, it sounds it's competitive. It's in line with with what we're paying today.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more, but I get it that we're getting some more. So, yeah, it definitely looks good.
Would you be interested in forming a partnership today and moving forward?
Well, again, as much as I'm the, I'm going to make a decision. I don't have the authority to sign anything. I just
Okay.
don't. So that that's kind of the. I'll meet with the folks there. I think I said Tuesday, and we have some attorneys here. They want to be able to, they want to look through the terms and conditions of the agreement,
Yeah.
make sure that everything you said is what we're getting, and it's all documented in there. And then we'll be, we should be able.
Do you mind if I join that meeting next week? And probably, I could bring a full presentation, more financials, and some legal paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could.
All right. So next Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Well, let's do it for Wednesday, and
Okay.
because I'm going to meet with them on Tuesday. So in case any questions come up between Tuesday and when we're scheduled to meet, I'll let you know. This way we can talk about it and discuss it on Wednesday.
All right, that sounds great.
All right, Jessica?
Pleasure.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you today?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing well. Macy TA with CDS.
Yes, hey, Macy.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Miller. Is that right?
That's right, it's me, Alex Miller, in the flesh.
Uh-huh. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. You got any big plans?
Just going to my in-laws.
Okay, so it's out of town or just right around here?
They're local.
Okay, nice. Nice. Do you ever go into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
No, it's too chaotic. Watch it on TV.
Okay, so you suggest I stay away from that? I'm in town. I'm new.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I did it once when I was younger, but I would give it a shot.
At least once.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Miller, here's my business card in case you want to contact me after today's meeting with further questions.
Sure.
And so what I really wanted to do today was just kind of set the agenda. Is 15 minutes still good for you?
Yeah, we're good for 15 minutes. I got to be someplace at 4 o'clock, so that works out well.
Okay, that'll work. So I really wanted to touch on those points that we hit last meeting, just kind of reiterate those, and then look at the final proposal and what CDS could offer you. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so first I'd like to just visit those action items we talked about and clarify what our focus really is here.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main frustration from what I understand is...
Yeah, come on.
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no
Just
problem.
wanted to make sure you had the latest article on the HP Xerox merger.
That's right. I've been reading about
With
this.
CDS later on today. So.
Yeah, that's right here.
Hi, nice to
how
meet
are
you.
you.
Hopefully, you
Macy
can bring
TA
us.
with CDS.
Great. Hopefully, you can bring us some insight as
Of
to what's
course.
going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for joining.
This is big news. Have you been following this over there at your office?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to stay up to date with being a representative of here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, some two powerhouse names potentially, coming together. So we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. What do you
Sure.
think?
I mean, looking at it now, it's a little early to tell. So
Okay.
we'll get
Okay.
into that on the later things. Let's see what
Yeah.
we can do here for you. How about that?
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
we were looking at in the last meeting, so the lack of prevention when it comes to security for your company. And so because of that security breach you guys had, we're really working on damage control to gain that trust back of your customers.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, you're here juggling phone calls and meeting with your employees on having to troubleshoot their issues. Does that sound about right?
That's partially right. Yeah.
Well, sure. What else would you like to add to that? Is there any other concerns you have?
Well, certainly, having that malware was an issue, and having to pay to get all that information back was a big pain in the neck. The fear of having it happen again is certainly something that's still out there, and having to restore a reputation. We live in a world, and they can excuse me. They can find that sort of stuff out quick, and so restoring our reputation has been something that we've been chipping away at, and
Sure.
making sure that we can get back on the right track.
Sure. You see you guys kind of progressing so far, or how's the movement looking?
Well, in terms of the move is we're still there. I mean, we're at 45 users now, plus
Okay.
or minus one. We got the location in Texas and the one in
Right.
California. We just had a meeting last week, and we were talking. I think the projection is to grow about 10 to 12% headcount
Hey.
year over year, and to be somewhere around the 50 user mark, 50 employee mark.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 60 employee mark. In over the next 3 years. So
Sure.
yeah, we're certainly on an upward trajectory.
Hey, that's good news. Better to be upward than just stagnant, or
Yeah.
even worse, down. So tell me a little bit about your expectations and what you're looking for a solution.
So we're looking for a provider that can help us both from our hardware needs, and also to help me as the IT person in managing remotely those other offices.
Sure.
I'm here in Wayne, so I can tend to some of the things here a little bit quicker than I can in those remote locations in Texas and in California. So looking for a partner that's going to work with us proactively to help us identify issues before they arise, versus reactive, and someone that's there when we need them. I know it maybe sounds a little cliche-ish, but someone that if we pick up the phone, we're going to talk to a live person.
That's
Not looking for any sort of automation, and
Of course. That's a reasonable thing, and that's important to consider in being in your position.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the impact would look like on your business if you had something that could deliver that solution?
I couldn't tell you, because I suppose it would look better than what it looks today, because we don't have it in place. And in an ideal world, things would be running smoothly. But I'm not, we don't live in an ideal world, and things do pop up from time to time, and curveballs are thrown in there. So the expectation would be that it's better than it is today, which is part of the reason why
Sure.
you're here and and you're presenting.
Exactly. So, you mind if I share with you my thoughts on what could be most beneficial for your company here at Garcia and Davis?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Of course. And so, what I wanted to look at was our AltaLink 8000 series. And
I
so,
heard about that.
in looking at your situation specifically
Yes.
and the output, the users that you have, I really think this would be beneficial for you. And so I'll kind of start here in the middle. So we have our AltaLink 8045. And so in having this here, I would say, just for your sake, either move up a step or at least stay right here in this range.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I like the idea of potentially moving up a step. I mean, it would be. I don't suppose you can maybe get me pricing on both options, could you?
We can discuss pricing.
Okay.
So what
are the differences?
So when you look at the differences, as you move up the tier, you get more output and copying,
Okay.
more security, and of course, more tray space. So
Okay.
as you move up, they get larger, they can hold more capacity, and the
Okay.
workload gets a little bit better.
Okay.
that make
got
sense?
it. Yeah.
And so, what would be your biggest concerns in choosing one of these series or one of these copiers from the 8000 series?
What would be my biggest concern
Sure.
about choosing them?
Sure.
I don't think I have any concerns. I mean, outside of the ones that we spoke about, we're looking for. These are color, right? So we're looking for
Exactly.
cost control when it comes to color. I think I shared with you over the last couple of meetings that it gets out of hand sometimes, right?
Mhm.
People, I get it, inadvertently print stuff in color that maybe doesn't need to be printed in color.
Sure.
When we've had this equipment now for close to 4 years, and although it was probably good then, it's maybe not as good now.
Okay.
And looking for some additional enhanced features that will allow us to better control those sort of things. So
Sure.
I'm hoping that these sort of products can do that for us.
Of course. So you're looking at upgrading from your old system and hopefully restoring that and keeping an eye on your employees' actions in the meantime with this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be, big brother. They're all adults here, and
Of
we
course.
certainly trust them, and don't want to, limit what they, what their work, and kind of view it as a hindrance. But also want them to be mindful. Hey, there is a cost associated with this sort of stuff, especially when it doesn't necessarily need to be printed in color.
Sure. And that's completely reasonable. So if we looked at moving up a step here,
Mhm.
I know we talked about in our last meeting that the average would be about $100 a month per user.
And so with the 8055, what I could do is I would look at about $8.99 a month, and that would include 15 users.
Okay.
So if you do the math real fast, that's about $60 a user, and you would have a top-of-the-line system, productive monitoring, vendor management would be included here, as well as data security and recovery.
Okay.
How does
So
that
that's
sound?
that's combining both the actual hardware and the managed IT services. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Is that something you're
And
looking
as-
for?
And yeah. I mean, I didn't realize it worked that way. So, and as we're adding, the users, I guess what you make changes to that, I suppose.
Of course, it would move up. So we could get into the later pricing when we work on that proposal. And so actually implementing how many more users you would need and things like that. But for the base rate, yeah, you would be looking at about $8.99 for those 15 users.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I have a buddy of mine who does similar position, like mine, and they have Canons over there. I just, out of curiosity, how do these machines kind of compare to like the Canon product line? Any?
Sure.
you know?
And so our biggest push with Xerox and CDS partnering together is our security that we provide with it. So these aren't just printers here.
Yeah.
We're actually offering you a service that could rebut all of these things, these frustrations we talked about earlier. So when you look at,
That's what he said too.
he said the same thing. Who do
Yeah.
they partner with? Do you know?
It's another company and I know they have Canon over there, so I'm not sure.
Sure.
I don't know the exact company they partner with, but.
So
they
is this
have-
security strictly Canon, or are they partnering with other security companies?
That's a good question.
Didn't say too much.
I don't know.
So one of the things that we're most proud of here with CDS and Xerox is we partner with McAfee and Cisco Securities.
We gotta jot that down.
Of course. And so what that looks like is that's two of the top security providers in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking at this, considering you had a security breach just a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
it's definitely important for you not to just focus on, I'm not going to throw you a printer in a room and leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's the services that we offer and the security wall that's going to be put up along with this.
Speaking of services, what is the typical like service response time if I have an issue?
Sure.
Let's talk about in some of those remote locations. By remote, I mean in Texas and California. What sort of, how does the troubleshooting look?
Sure. And so this is kind of just an overview of our security options. And so we're looking at, we have a continuous line of end user support. So that's a phone they can call anytime, and they are completely up to speed with all the issues and how to handle them. So they're not calling you. So 85% of IT issues can be resolved remotely. So here's why we have that end user support that's offered to them all the time. And then for that
By
other...
all the time, you meaning all the time, 24/7 type of thing?
I believe it's just during work hours, and it extends a little later as well.
It does. Okay.
And so for that other 15% that can't be resolved remotely, as you said in your California and Dallas locations, we can actually dispatch on-site support to take care of those things.
And so with the 3-hour time difference, how does that work for the user? Because we're here in the East Coast, right? CDS is in the East Coast. Does that mean, like, is it business hours just for Jersey time?
No, like I said, we extend that, so we take into
Okay.
consideration
All
all
right. You
time
did say that.
zones.
Right.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And so not only is that end-user support, but the on-site support is going to be what helps you and takes that workload off of your plate and being the IT administrator.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And so what I kind of like to talk about now is maybe moving forward and looking at implementing this in your office.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that sound like something you would be interested in?
Well, I'm gonna make the final recommendation to our partners.
Okay.
We have a meeting scheduled. I believe it's Tuesday,
Okay.
and at which point, I'm gonna review this information with them, and I'll give them, kind of my thoughts and my feedback and my suggestion. And we have an attorney here, and he's going to want to read through the agreement and make sure that everything that you share with me today is actually what's going to happen, and
Of course.
make sure there's no language in there that might conflict with anything.
Yeah,
So,
small print.
Yeah, right, exactly. Read through all those terms and conditions, and then we can go from there.
Sure. So you say you're relaying your recommendations and your ideas to them. Would there be anything that hesitates you from relaying good thoughts towards them?
No, I mean, I think you covered some of the biggest pieces
Sure.
for us and for my firm. So I appreciate the work you put
Of course.
into it.
And so when we get further into these details, I know I told you it would look like about $8.99 a month, including those 15 users.
Yeah.
And so we have
Seemed a little high. I was expecting, compared to where we're at now,
hey,
because
and the services that you'll be offered compared to now.
I definitely have to take that into consideration. I mean, compared to where we're at now, it's slightly more, but like you said, we're getting more, so that's
Sure.
something.
And so just to kind of summarize, you really needed something to take the stress off of you,
Yeah.
ensure that your information and reputation was protected,
Yes.
and then restore it as well. And then to make put the cherry on the top, just making it easy for your employees to navigate this system and having those services provided to them. So what I'm here to give you that maximum level security and to monitor those actions across the board, to take some of that stress off of you, and then to grow your business even after this attack has happened recently.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you feel about working with the best of the best?
Well, I mean, there's no question about it. You certainly checked a lot of those boxes, things that I've asked you to do. I think kind of sitting here today, it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, it is a little bit more than where we're at now, but I'll make that presentation over to
Sure.
to that team, the finance committee on Tuesday, and then maybe I'll give you a call on Wednesday or so.
That sounds perfectly fine. And if you need me to be with you on Tuesday, I would absolutely vouch for all the things that we've talked to about as well.
Okay. Well, I'll let you. Why don't you call me on Monday, and I'll let you know if it's necessary for you to be back on Tuesday. Maybe they might want to talk to you. And
That sounds like a great plan, Mr. Miller.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to work with you, and reach out with my business card if you have any questions. Okay.
All right, Macy. Thank you.
Thank you for talking with me.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert Ken.
Hey, Rob.
Xerox. Great to see you again.
Yeah. Good to see you too.
Good. Do you mind if I have a seat and some
Yeah,
of the
go
stuff?
right ahead. Go right ahead.
Thank you. All right. Before we get started, just want to give you over my business card, just in case you have any questions, concerned. I know I've given it to you before, but just in
got
case.
a stack of them.
Yeah, those notes are a little small. Sometimes they get misplaced, so I just want to make sure you have that. So the holidays coming up. Thanksgiving next Thursday. Do you have any fun plans with your family?
We're vegetarian, so we don't really, we don't eat turkey.
Don't eat the turkey. Do you still gather as a family?
Yeah.
Fun
Just
stuff?
kind of, have salad and stuff.
That's good. Well,
Vegetables. Yeah,
good.
but
That's different alternatives. I'm still happy you got some.
yeah, that's the most important part, right?
Yeah, to be thankful with your family. That's
That's
great.
it. That's it.
You also mentioned on the phone you have about 15 minutes for today's meeting. Does that still?
I got to
stand?
skedaddle. I got to be out of here by 4:30. So yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, to be mindful of your time, just want to go ahead, set the liberty of setting an agenda. First, I want to review the information that we've discussed in these last two meetings. Second, I want to clarify if you have any questions about anything I presented, you feel free to do so.
Okay.
Third, I want to present, once again, just refresh your memory on what we can offer here at CDS at Xerox.
Mhm.
And lastly, just want to go over the logistics about some of the printers we have and how those could fit in your 3 offices. Does that sound about everything good today?
Yes.
Great. And does anyone else need to be involved today in the decision-making process?
They do. I mean, I'm gonna gather all this information, and I have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday with the partners. What if you have contracts, you can leave them with me, and we have an attorney that's going to want to review all the fine print, the terms and conditions, and we'll go from there.
Excellent. Sounds good. Thank you for clarifying with that
Yeah.
for me. All right. Just to get started, just want to kind of review everything that we've talked about in the last two meetings.
Yes.
Right now, your capabilities, you're currently printing about 20 to 30,000 a month. You're doing
Correct.
that.
Between all the locations. Yeah.
Yep. And then scanning about 10,000, and you're looking to ultimately have that could be into a cloud system.
Yes.
You're looking to allow translation between Spanish and French between your documents, and ultimately, after learning a little bit more about you and your roles and responsibilities, you're looking for a secure network for a very efficient process between your accountants and ultimately.
Yeah. Hey, come on in.
Hey, Alex, sorry to interrupt.
What's up?
Just wanted to make sure you had the latest article about the Xerox HP merger. I know you're meeting with CDS a little later.
Yeah.
today.
This is Robert. He's from CDS, as a matter of
Robert,
fact.
how are you?
Robert Kenneth, Xerox. How you
How's
doing?
everything?
Yeah.
Look,
This is.
Would you like to join
Hopefully
us
you can
today
bring
in
some
the meeting?
insight. No, it's good. I'm busy right now, but I wanted to make sure you had some information.
Okay.
Thanks,
sounds
Dave. Hey,
good.
have a nice weekend if I don't see you.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is interesting news. They've been. I was actually funny you brought it in. I was thinking about it. I just saw something pop up on the
Yeah.
newswire
Exciting,
about this. What do
yeah.
you think of it?
Exciting time for CDS Xerox. I think we're growing and ultimately making sure that we can have a bunch of capabilities to do with our customers. So
Yeah, one day Xerox is looking to acquire HP. The next day HP says maybe they'll acquire Xerox. So who knows where this thing will end up?
yeah, we'll see. Well, I know you only have 15 minutes for
Yeah.
today's meeting, so I still want to get on track as I know you're a busy guy.
Okay.
So after we talked a little bit about your printing, your needs and stuff like that, and ultimately you're looking for a secure network that's going to be efficient for your practice, and really interested in learning more about that outsourced IT where we can talk about that vendor management and those quality reports.
Yeah, that's huge.
All
That
right.
piece there.
Great. So that sounds about everything we've talked about so far?
Yeah.
All right. So just to refresh your memory, can you go in a little bit more about how you're currently storing your documents?
Well, so today on the current equipment that we have, we just utilize the basic, scanning functionality.
Okay.
So we scan to a network folder, and then it resides on the network there for us. And then as you can see behind me, we have the file cabinets of just hard paper stuff.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about this last time, but worrying about how secure that data is, if unfortunately there would be a fire to a building, maybe a
That's-
flood.
Mhm.
You've talked a little bit about, could you see if there'd be instances where some of these documents could be a lot washed away?
Yeah. It sounds crazy, but it's one of the reasons why a few years ago there was a big flood in the area, and Hurricane Sandy.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why we moved, from the first floor to the third floor. It sounds kind of nuts, but we wanted to make sure we were okay because half of the street got flooded out.
Yeah, absolutely. So having your documents with all your clients' information on a secure network is something that's very important to you.
The team here needs to be able to work, so we understand that there are going to be certain things that happen throughout the course of a year, natural disasters, but that can't stop us from getting the necessary information out to our clients.
Yes, absolutely. One other question I have to ask you is, what are your goals and priorities as it comes to your printing needs here?
For our printing needs, well, again, the stuff that we have now is a little bit older. It's about 4 years old, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, I think we got one more payment to make,
Yes,
and we're
that's
done
right.
with that. And so we're looking for something a little bit faster. We're looking for something a little bit more efficient. We're looking for something that doesn't maybe break down as much. I think I shared with you that I like the fact they print in color. The team here needs to print in color, but I think sometimes, one of my biggest frustrations is when I walk past the machine and I see, color stuff just sitting there. That's costing me money.
Absolutely.
And that's costing the firm money. So, looking for a way to reduce unnecessary spend when it comes to color printing, because it can get expensive.
Absolutely. So a system that would have an efficient printing system on a secure network, and really you as the IT administrator to be able to see reports of which employees are printing a certain amount, would that be something that you would find valuable?
Yeah, and not to yell at them or anything like that, but
Yeah.
just to maybe get a better understanding is, why is the receptionist printing, this much in color, when maybe she doesn't need to. So maybe part of it's training. So I don't know what kind of training you guys offer when it comes to that sort of stuff, but that would be a piece of it. And I got to imagine that this stuff today is a little bit, I guess, more intuitive than what it was 4 years ago. So I would imagine there's some additional tools
Yes.
that allow me to cut back on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to summarize, I know we only have 15 minutes, so I do want to make sure we're moving right along. Just to summarize everything I've heard today and also these last two meetings is you're looking for an efficient system to ultimately help G&D continue to grow and make it the most production and workflow and great on a secure network and really looking to utilize the new technologies your contract is up. Here at CDS Xerox, we think it'd be a great opportunity for I could help you with your needs currently as we talked about that breach and we've talked about other things. Really looking to partner with you in your full-time growth is something I'm looking forward to. So I have a presentation here. I'd love to just refresh your memory on some of the things we've talked about and really dive a little deeper into those printing needs and everything like that. Excellent.
While you're doing that, I got a buddy of mine has a similar role as I do, but he works over for a law firm our size in terms of employees, and they have like Canon gear there. I mean, what do you know about Canon?
I know they are a competitor of ours. They do work in the printing and document storage field.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not an expert as much as obviously I do
Yeah.
work for CDS Xerox, but I never have heard they've held clients in the end. But have you heard anything else from? Does he?
No, I mean, I
anything
just
with you?
I know that he's got a few of them, and he seems to like them. So I was just wondering while you were doing that, if you had any thoughts on there, and how they might be, I don't know, the same, better, different, worse. I don't. If you had any feedback on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I want to spend the rest of my meeting showing you how CDS is
Okay.
the best in the industry.
Fair enough.
Let's get started.
All right.
So here we go. CDS Xerox. I know we've mentioned through the past. Just going to do a quick overview. We
Yes.
mentioned. I don't want to. We've talked about this before. Being mobile and cloud ready. Ultimately, having a shared network between all three of your offices to have a most efficient process. That benchmark security is something we're very important. If we want to just compare it to Canon, we are the only printing manufacturer in the industry that has partnered with McAfee. They are the top industry leader when it comes to security, and we wanted to partner with the best security company to make sure that our clients have that best security. We touched a little bit about opportunities in outsourced IT management and really going through the benefits. We'll ultimately work with you with that threat management, making sure we cover all of the points of, unfortunately, some intruders entering your network. That on-site support and really including with our package if there is an issue. We will be at all three locations when you need us to. Having that vendor management piece to ultimately save you some time and stress when picking those vendors. And lastly, those quarterly reports that are going to help you continue to be able to understand how you can improve your industry. Is all this sounding familiar so far, Mr.
Yeah, I
Miller?
mean, I like the reporting tool. I like the vendor management piece. That's good stuff.
Great. Well, that's funny. The next two slides are me diving a little bit more on the quarterly reports and the vendor management. So first, what I love to share with my customers is I will meet with you quarterly and
Okay.
talk and go over these things with you. I'm a client, like I mentioned before, I want to build that relationship. And after today's meeting, you're not going to be, when you work with CDS Xerox, you're not going to go right to customer support. I am your point of contact. And what I'd like to do is sit you down, go over this data, and really see how efficiently you're running your IT department. And ultimately, going over these metrics can identify opportunities to improve your firm. And this is data that you can share with your management team to ultimately have more data going forward. You could see how those quarterly reports will be helpful in your long-term growth here at G&D.
Yeah, this will be huge when I have my quarterly meetings here with senior management. Certainly to kind of share that with them. So that would be huge. Can I customize these things too, my end?
Yep, and like I said, we're going to work together as a team, and if there's certain areas that you need to be for this quarter, we're working more on our time and our budget. We can touch on those points a little bit more.
Okay.
Great. That next piece is that vendor management. This is ultimately, Mr. Miller, going to end up saving you time, is you're going to be able to select the best vendors in the industry. And I've found you'll have the opportunity to review those contracts. And I have found with my customers that I end up saving 20% on those contracts. So at the end of the day, have us enter that vendor management piece will help you save you time and mitigate that risk and ultimately give you the confidence in the vendors that you're working with. Could you see how this could save you some time and you can do your other stuff instead of maybe worrying about so much on the vending?
Certainly.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like sitting on the phone and chit-chatting with folks.
Exactly.
I got to move around.
And those vendors, a lot of time we're on hold, and I'm sure you're not a big fan of that waiting music, are you?
No.
That's great. Okay, so ultimately, when we talked these last three meetings, I think the Altalink C8000 series, specifically the C8055 printer, is going to be the best printer for your firm here at G&D. It has that black and white color with some color capabilities. It's built for that ease of use to make sure your employees are working efficiently, that secure network so we know that no one is getting access to these files that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they range about 50 to 55 pages per minute, which fits exactly into your capacity you're doing each month. After reviewing, I really wanted to give you an opportunity to make sure that this was signing a deal would make sure this would make perfect sense for your team at G&D. I thought a 39-month lease, which would be $899 per month, and 15 users will be able to have access to Connect Key services. What's going to be included in this printer and this package will be full maintenance, the supplies, parts, and toner that's needed, that service labor if there are any issues, and ultimately what's included in my favorite part is the relationship that we're going to carry over. If there's issues in the future or anything that comes up, you know you'll be able to reach me, and ultimately we can work together and ultimately put these in our
And
offices.
these things will break down, right? I mean, it's what happens.
Back to life, yeah.
Yeah, and what, in terms of like service response time, what does that look like?
24-hour support.
24-hour support.
24/7, but it's 24-hour. 24/7 support, Mr. Miller. We take it upon ourselves as you have a business to run, and if
Yeah.
there is a problem with your printer, that's less time the accountants can be going to find clients, and
Okay.
ultimately with those billable hours, that's all it's about is making you money. We want to make sure that we're on our game 24/7 so we can continue to, if we can come in with that on-service support, help you fix your issues so your business can continue to run as normal. Does it handle that concern about breaking down issues?
Well, in terms of server, like actual turnaround time. So if I have an issue, then someone would typically here, I guess, fixing it within 24 hours.
Within
Is that-
24 hours is
within
our
20
goal. We do
okay.
have that remote access, so if you do give me a call, I can work with my team. And if
Mhm.
within maybe it's a quick fix, we got on the phone call, we talk
Yeah.
for 20 minutes, but ultimately making sure. And another thing I love to share is this technology is new, but we also offer training. So I know you are a busy guy, and spending some time on training we have other responsibilities to do. We want to work with you to help train your employees and ultimately help you grow. So, Mr. Miller, I know we do have 15 minutes for today's meeting, so I just want to wrap it up.
Mhm.
It would be a great opportunity for G&D to help move forward in their IT department and help them grow, to really partner with CDS and ultimately have all these capabilities we can offer. What I'd like to do is become partners with you with the AltaLink series. With that 39-month lease at $899 per month, we can open this printer in the New Jersey office, train you, get up to speed, and ultimately moving forward be able to move those in to the San Francisco and Dallas office.
Yeah.
Would you like to be partners with me, Mr. Miller?
Like I mentioned earlier, we have a team. This is a lengthy agreement. We have a team of, not a team, but an attorney that's going to want to review just the terms and conditions. Price is a little higher than what we're paying today, but I get it. I'm getting some additional services, which is good. And I actually don't authorize the agreements.
Okay.
So that's got my name on it. I'm gonna have to present that to Here's what we can do. Tuesday, I got a meeting with the team. Why don't you call me later in the afternoon? I can let you know how it went, and then we can go from there. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I can't wait to meet you and hear a little more Tuesday. One final thing I want to leave with you.
Yeah.
I know the price may be a little high, but you mentioned that security breach. It's worth to pay that price to make sure that your reputation on the line will never happen again.
Yeah, well.
Mr. Miller, I can't wait to talk to you next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect.